Okay, on this question, we have x minus 1/5 equals 2/3. I changed my number over here to make it more difficult, so it can be more helpful to you. So x, I'll write it over here, x minus 5/7 equals 2/3. Okay, so the equal sign is like a wall of separation, left side, right side, and x is basically over here saying, I want to be alone. So that means you got to get rid of that 5/7, that 5/7 that is subtracted in order to get x alone. So how do we do that? We always do the opposite, huh? So I'm going to add 5/7, and whatever you do to one side, you have no choice but to do the same thing to the other, because you've got to keep the balance, don't you? Does that make sense? So we've got to, the idea is if these guys were equal before and we treat them the same, we do the same thing to both sides, they got to be equal afterwards. If two things are equal and you treat them the same, they got to be equal afterwards. So now I have to somehow add 2/3 and 5/7. On the left side, the minus 5/7 and plus 5/7 cancel. That's what we wanted. So x is alone. So now how do we add two fractions with different denominators? Remember, whenever you add, subtract fractions, you must make denominators the same. So that means I have to come to this one and you got to multiply top and bottom by 7, top and bottom of this one by 3. See how that'll make both denominators 21. Remember, you multiply top and bottom by the other denominator, right? So the 7, I go top and bottom on the other fraction, and the 3, I go top and bottom on the other fraction. You switch. See that? The denominators. Why? Because that'll make them the same. See how both those denominators now will be 21? And what's the top? 2 times 7? 14. 5 times 3? 15. And now we can add them. Now that the denominators are both the same, you can add 14 and 15, 29. And you keep the same common denominator. So whenever we're adding, subtracting fractions, we must make the denominators the same. How do we do that? We multiply top and bottom by the other denominator. We have to do the same thing top and bottom so we don't change the fraction. Just like we do the same thing left and right of an equal sign. Always keeping the balance in math. Same thing top and bottom, same thing left and right. That way we don't change anything. And yet we've made the two denominators the same and we can add them. So there we go.